Good morning. Welcome to day 68 of the 100 Day Project. This is day 67, videos up, and you're welcome to go watch. Today, we're going to make our second swatch book that is this size. So I'm going to get all my stuff together and I'll show you what I'm going to use. It's going to be like yesterday, except that it'll look different when we're finished. All right, let me get my stuff and we'll get started. To start off, I'm going to use the same type box, same size and everything. If you are interested in knowing about what was in the box, refer to the last video. These are super good. So I have my box and I have my paper, and it's the same paper as the last one, which was the Strathmore Mixed Media 5.5 by 8.5, 90 pound. It's going to be cut down to fit. I've got a self-healing mat, a ruler, and an X-Acto knife right now, and a pokey tool on hand. What I want to do first is take apart my box. Most boxes have a place for you to undo it on the side or the back, so you just slip your finger underneath and undo it so it unfolds like this. So now you already have a book shape. This is going to be the front, the spine, and the back. And all I do is take off all these little tabs that create your box that hold it together, because you don't need those. I just start tearing them off. I bend them and work on them till they come off easy enough. Just like this. Okay? So get your box prepped and then we'll work on our papers. My box is prepped. All the little tabs are off and I'm leaving it rough. I'm not cutting the sides or anything. Then I'm going to take my papers, and I have in this book 3 signatures with 3 papers each, and it works just fine. So I'm going to do the same thing for this book here. So I have all my papers ready. I finished off a book. So now I can use this for something. So I'll save that. Got all my pages, and what I'm going to do is take the first one and just set it down here, kind of lined up so that I know that it's even. It's on my self-healing mat. I'm not lining it on any particular number. I just want it to be straight. And I'm going to lay my book down on my paper, and I'm going to draw a line around the size of my book. My papers do not need to be that size. They need to be a little smaller, but this is just my guide to get me started. So I know that when I go to cut my pages, that I don't cut on my line, that I cut inside the line a little bit, maybe 1/8 to 1/4 inch smaller, so that when I put my pages in my book, they fit in there and they don't extend out. I'm gonna go ahead and cut one with you. I'm lining it up so it's straight, so my cut will be as straight as I can get it, knowing that in this room, nothing's ever straight. I'm gonna move my ruler in probably about 1/4 inch. You can always trim it some more if it's too big. Fold the page over, so we're going to test it to see if it fits in there properly. It fits pretty good, but it's still a little bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and take off a little bit more. Okay, that fits pretty good. I can always trim it later. If you put them in there and you see that they're a little too big, you can always just trim them off. So go ahead and get all your pages cut. Here's 2 signatures with 3 sheets each, and here's my 3rd signature. All I do now is just take each one and fold it in half and crease it down real well. And then stick them inside each other and get them butted in as well as you can. And then I'm going to go ahead, and I did this on my other 2. I just kind of lay my signature down and I line up my ruler at the very edge and I trim off the excess, because when you start layering them in each other, they don't lay flush against each other. And so I just trim off the extra just to make them even. You don't have to do this. Okay, now they're nice and even at the edge and they'll fit in my book just fine. Okay, so 3 signatures ready to go. If you use paper like I did, just save these, because you can use these for making more painty paper strips or bookmarks or something like that. They'll come in handy. The next thing I want to do is take my book and I want to cut a piece of paper that's going to fit into the spine here. So you can see there's a crease here and here. And I want something that fits right along that spine. And I already have one from yesterday, so I don't have to cut another one. And it fits right in here like this. So this is what you're creating. A little template. And on your template, you're going to have holes. This is where your holes for your book and your signatures are going to go. I just guesstimated down how far I wanted to go and how far up I wanted to go. And I tried to get them kind of close. So if you want to come down 1 inch or 1/2 inch, do the same on the other side. And then in between the 2, you want a row of holes that's equally spaced between this one and this one. I made 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because I have 3 signatures. I'm just going to turn my book over and place my template there, and I'm going to clip mine in so that it will stay put while I poke my holes. I'm just going to put my holes in my spine, just following the little template. You got a row here, here, and here with 3 holes across. So your signature is going to go in here, and then 1 there and 1 there. So now you want holes in your signatures. I use the same template, and all I'm going to do is use the center row of holes. Not the outside one, not the other outside one, but the one in the center. This one, and this one. I'm going to lay it in my spine. When you do this, I didn't say this in the last video, I should have, but I didn't. I was kind of tired. Mark the top of your template, whichever direction you go on this book, mark your top, and then use the same top in your signature. So you want them all to go the same way, just so that you don't do one this way and one this way, because it won't line up as perfect. And I'm going to line that up in my book, make sure it goes top to bottom evenly enough. And I'm going to go ahead and do all of my signatures together so that they're done at one time, but you can do as many as you feel comfortable with. So I'm going to clip these just to help me hold them in place. All my signatures are done, so I'll separate them back out. Keep them in the same order so you know which one's the top. And I'm going to use dental floss to connect my signatures to my book. I have unwaxed dental floss, and yesterday I pulled out my string, the length I needed for all 3, and left it in one long string. Today I'm going to do it different and just do each individual one. I want at least 3 times the length of your book. Let's say 1, 2, 3, and then just a little extra so you don't run short. And then thread your needle, and I use whatever needle works best. I want my thread to start on the outside because I want my strings to be on the outside, because I'm going to cut them short and leave them like this. You can put them on the inside if you want to. I'm starting with my first signature. I've got 3 holes. I'm going to work on the hole closest to me on this end, this one, and this one. I'm going to start in the center at the hole closest to me though. Start in the back and get the hole closest to me. So turning it over, it's going to be farthest away. Put your needle in that hole and turn it back over, and you can see it's right there. And then I'm going to put my signatures through the needle, and I'm going to pull. And I'm going to keep a tail so I can tie it. And if you need to help you, and I'm going to do that today, I'm going to washi tape my tail out here so I don't have to worry about it slipping out because it's a little slippery. Then I'm going to go up to the top hole here through my signature, and then through the top hole closest to me in my book. And don't pull your string tight yet until you have a hold of it manually, because the tape won't hold it. And I'm going to go on the other side now, all the way, skip the center hole, go all the way to the end hole farthest away from me, which when you turn it over will be closest to you. And then bring your needle through your signature like that. And pull your string, and then you're going to go back into the center hole again and come out. And when you come out, you notice you've got a long string here, and my tail is tied over here on this side. My tail is on the left side of my long stitch. So this time when my needle comes up this center hole, I want my needle to come on the right side of my long stitch so that I can tie over the center stitch. And then I get rid of my needle so it's not in my way, and we'll take off the washi tape. Now's when you want to make sure that your strings are tight. I had trouble with mine yesterday. I didn't get one tight enough. So you want to pull them taut, but don't pull them too hard because then your pages will rip. But before you tie them, just make sure your signature's in there as tight as you want. And then you're just going to tie a knot. Then I'm going to cut them really short because I don't want tails. Okay, so I have one signature in. And then I have 2 rows of holes left. And I'm going to do the second one, the one in the center, and then I'm going to do the one outside. And I'm going to do it the same way I just did this one. Okay, I have all my signatures in. I'm ready to do the outside of my book. Now you can do the outside of your book before you put your signatures in, but I just prefer to get my signatures in because I'm going to put some gesso here, and I didn't want to have to put a needle through gesso that had gone into the holes. I just wanted to have it already done. I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of gesso on here. This needs to be a little bit covered so that I can put some paint on here. This is just Liquitex gesso. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry, and then I will either put another coat of gesso on or I'll start going ahead and putting on the color. Here's what I think I wanna do for this one. This one here, we used a warm white color for the cover. I think I'm gonna use my black gesso for the cover on this one. Hopefully I'll like it. If not, we'll figure out something else. This is something I used yesterday to paint circles that I didn't use, so I'm gonna keep this off to the side to wipe off my brush, so maybe I can come up with a back cover here. This is drying. I'm looking over my papers to see what I might like on this cover, and there are some spots here that the gesso didn't quite cover, but I can go over it if I need to, or the paper might cover it, so I'm not going to be too concerned about it. I'm thinking about using this little area here, but I also think that there's some areas over here that I'd like to cut out and try, like this circle here. It's got a little heart in it. That'd be cute. And these little lines here. And actually there's a couple of hearts here. Oh, there's a big heart. If you look close, there's hearts everywhere. And then this one here has got some circles that I kind of liked that I might use. Maybe use this shape or this shape. I'm gonna play around with this and see what I like, and then I'm gonna cut out a few shapes, and then when I get back, we'll see what looks best on the book. So far what I've come up with that I like is this little piece here, and these two little hearts I cut out, the shape that they actually were put on the paper. When I take my brush, I just kind of do that, and that's the shape they became, so I left them the shape. I didn't try to fix them, and I thought I would put the hearts on here, and I like these little guys here. Need a little something here, though, I think, on the border. Maybe that? Let's do that. Let's just put it down. Let's just go ahead and take the plunge. I like this little piece down here that looks like a paw print. I'll hold it up for you to see in a second. I don't want to cover my paw print. I decided to put both hearts right about there so I could keep that. Okay, so now I want something on the back cover, and I don't really like how this turned out too well, I don't think. I'm gonna try cutting these out and see if I like them back here. Let's just glue it down. I'm gonna cut out one of these little hearts and see if I want it back there too. And I'm gonna cut out one of these little circles. Jelly roll pen. I think I've got everything where I want it now, so I'm going to put a coat of Liquitex Basic Gloss Varnish on it, just like I did on this one. It gives it a coating on there so that it's kind of protecting it. Okay, my varnish is dry, and now I'm going to put my ribbon on. Just like yesterday, I'm going to clip it where I think I want it, so that I can hold it in place while I put my glue on. I just took a long strand, however many wraps around I wanted it to go, just eyeballed it, and I'm leaving a tail in the front here for tying, and I'm just gonna wrap it around and then tie it, just like I did this one yesterday. And I'm gluing it a little lower than the middle. I want it to kind of go below this area here. I'm using Helmar Quick Dry Adhesive 450. I'm gonna give it a second to set and dry. This stuff dries pretty quick. I like using it for fabric and heavy duty things. I never use these little guys here. That's okay. We'll use them on something else. Looks like little legs. All right, let's go ahead and tie this. Okay, book number 2 is done. And now the only thing left to do is figure out what I want to do for book 3, which would be the big book that I want to use in my room. I'm not going to do any swatching today. I want to focus on thinking about the big book. So I have to edit this video, get it up for you guys, and maybe that leaves a little time for me to think about what I want to do for the big book, and then maybe we could do the big book tomorrow. If not, I'll think of something else. And I will see you tomorrow for day 69. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And I can't decide which one I like better. I'm almost leaning toward this one. I don't know. Which one do you like better? Okay, so I'll see you later. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.